Giving all praise, honor, and glory to Heavenly Father's only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, and Kakwadash. Double honors to our apostles, elders, great millstone, teaching us His truth, according to the Bible, and rule well. And not shalom, others, so you're arguing throughout the four corners of the earth, pushing His truth through diligence and sincerity and in charity. And not shalom to all you sincere followers, believers of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, not just hearers of the word, but doers as well. You men, women, and children, hopefully, like shalom. Set thy house in order. That's probably what I'll title this lesson. All right. That's the brother Kabad back with another GMS lesson. Lord willing, lessons edifying. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 13. Now therefore set thy house in order, and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. All right, and set that house in order starts with you. All right, us as Israelites, which were being called by these different proverbs and bywords, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. All right. We are in a time of renouncing corruption. Okay. Because this world is going to pass away. This current age is going to pass away in a horrific fashion. And we can't explain it to you enough. All right. And the only way out of it is through seeking the God of the Bible through His only begotten Son. Taking heed to the message that His men are preaching day in and day out. You know, it will reproving you with this word and comforting you with this word. And this is what you're supposed to take heed to. Verse 14, let go from thee mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature. Because the things that we're going to see in these upcoming days, all right, it's going to be like a time like it's never been on the earth. Matthew, the 24th chapter, goes into that. So we got to let go of things that is most heaviest to us, as the next verse is going to say. And we are in the flesh, so we're going to have these thoughts, okay? But we got to put off the weak nature. Well, how am I going to eat? How am I going to have a roof over my head? What if I get snatched up? What about my family? What about my children? What about my wife? What about, what if I get fired from my job? Whatever the case may be, we got to let go of that weak nature. All right. I've heard this saying before by Christians. It says, let go and let God. And, there's truth to that. Let go of these mortal thoughts, what ifs, all right, doubts, all those, demonic spirits. Because, they're really demons that's trying to hop on you, get you to doubt, get you to second guess. But you got to let go and let Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai do their thing. Reading on verse 15, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. Right? So the thoughts that are heavy to us, we got to set it to the side. One good way of doing that, staying busy. Staying busy. Reading, studying, going out for walks. If you're able to, hell, pick up a second job. Some brothers can do that. All right. But you got to know what is sufficient for you. All right. All within the balance, of course. It says, and haste thee to flee from these times. Right. And as you think about 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, we'll talk about hasting for a new kingdom. Let me see if I can find it real quick. 2 Peter chapter 3. I'm gonna start at 10. It says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up." So the day of the Lord is going to catch a lot of people off guard, like a thief does. In which the heavens, which is Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed so-called white man, is in his heavens. All right, any Edomite that's not, you're just a two-time loser. All right, but for the most part, these Edomites are in their heaven. These self-proclaimed so-called white men are in their heaven. It says, their heavens shall pass away with a great noise by what? The thermonuclear missiles, ICBMs, along with the Lord and the host angels, chariots. All right, using concentrated fire to add more fire to this place. And that great noise is going to be the boom, the sound you hear with them ICBMs, the warheads touching down. And the elements shall melt forever heat. Everything you see is made of elements. All right. Verse 11, "Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved." Verse 11, "What manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?" All right, so how you conducting yourself from the earth should be within the scriptures, man. All right, how the scriptures tell us to conduct ourselves. Because anything outside of that is wickedness. Verse 12, "Looking for his appoint and hasting unto the coming of the day of Yahweh." Hasten to flee from these times, man. All right. Looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of Yahweh, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. "Wherefore, beloved," verse 14, "seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent, that ye may be found of him in peace and without spot and blameless." All right, so hasting is something that we need to be having the forefront of our mind, because the Lord is going to destroy this place. You know, America tells you that in Amos, the 9th chapter. You know, he's going to destroy that wicked and sinful kingdom from off the face of the earth. Yeah, that was talking about Israel. Yeah, but you apply it to these times now. But anyway, 2 Ezra 14 and 15 again says, "Set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee." Right, the things that's that's always on your mind. It keeps coming back up, or things of that nature. It says, "Unto thee, and haste to thee to flee from these times, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done thereafter." Okay? So greater evils are coming. We can't get caught up in a woe is me spirit. Can't get caught up in a down and out. All right? We at war. We got to go, man. We got to go. Hasten to flee from this place. Right? This place is on fire spiritually. Then it's going to be physically. Would you go back into a burning house? The house is on fire. Oh, I need to go get my wallet. I need to go get my keys. I need to go get this. No, you're just going to get the hell out of there. It says, verse 17, look for how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. Evils, man. Evils, evils, evils. Eve meaning time, ill meaning bad. All right? But, matter of fact, let's get some of these evils real quick. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 16 and 17. It says, woe is me. Woe is me. Woe means destruction. Who will deliver me in those days? So Ezra is getting a vision here of evils. It says the beginning of sorrows and great mournings. You think you've seen sorrows now. All right? Wait till the Lord really turns up the temperature. It says the beginning of great famine, which is the lack of food and, water. And that's gonna delete a lot of people from the earth, man. It's gonna cause people to fight. It's gonna cause people to do things that they normally wouldn't do. All right, it's gonna get them out of character. You're gonna see things that you wish you never saw. All right, because this is the end. The end of an age. 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. It says, 2nd Ezra 16 and 18, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? All right, and I like to answer that. This is one of my favorite precepts. What shall you do when these evils come? Oh, I passed it. It's like this is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 34. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts, your minds be overcharged with suffering and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. What day is that? The day of the Lord. All right, you're caught up in the excess of folly, BS, and the cares of this life, right? Diddy trial, madness, the NBA draft. Who cares? Who cares? Social media. You're so caught up in these things that the day of the Lord is going to sneak up on you. It says, verse 35, for as a snare, which is a trap, shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. So it's going to come as a trap. Those who are not watching. Verse 36, here's the point. So Ezra said, what shall I do when these evils shall come? This is Luke 21 and 36. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. So we ought to be praying, right? Watching and praying. Watching for what? The prophecies. And praying that the Lord finds us worthy. Because it's going to be so, once again, we can say it, but, you just got to see for yourself how bad it's going to be. This is Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 2. It says, O Lord, I have heard thy speech and was afraid, as you should be, right? Because the prophets, according to Jeremiah 28, prophesied of war and of evil. It prophesied, man. It reads on Habakkuk 3 and 2. O Lord, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. O Lord, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known, and wrath remember mercy. And I had a vision back here some years ago. And, I've never been that frightened in my life. Never. Never. And, I don't want to get into it, but, I woke up in a cold sweat. I was shaking. I ended up calling a brother. And, it was fearful, man. That feeling that I had, it was beyond terrified. And the crazy thing about it was I couldn't see what was behind me. I could just hear things. And it was the sound of death. I may do a lesson on it one day. Lord might have me bring it out. But it was terrifying, man. So back in 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 18. So it says, the beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Watch and pray, that we ever be found worthy to escape the famine, the death, the wars, things of that nature. So jumping down, verse 19, behold, 2nd Ezra 16 and 19, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. And that's crazy, because the Lord is sending these spiritual lashings, and our people are not even taking heed. All right? They're not being corrected. And it's going to lead to the Lord ultimately just taking them out of their misery. Jumping down, verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And it's going to be an all-out bloodbath, man. And if the Lord's not on your side, you're finished out here. You're finished out here, man. But you got to put away the things that are heavy source and continue to seek the Lord. All right? Because evils are coming. Verse 31, even so, in those days shall there be 3 or 4 left by them that search the houses with the sword, which is the modern day sword, the gun. This is the last precept, 2 Ezra 16 and 40. O my people, hear my word. You hear the word through the prophets. And, it's up to you to determine who has the truth. If you're on the fence about what camp is leading you the right way or has the truth, you got to pray. You got to fast. All right? But here at Great Millstone, we have the 100% truth. Everything you need pertaining to salvation. 2 Ezra 16 and 40, start with the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone down. 2 Ezra 16 and 40, O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle. And in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. All right? And a pilgrim is one is on a spiritual journey. And you're going to, lose things in the process, careers, right? Your jobs, homes, vehicles, people in your life, all right? But if you look at what happened to Job, Job was restored. And you got to understand And all those heavy thoughts that may be in your mind, you got to place with positive thoughts. Okay? Because just like, once again, Job lost everything but gained everything back. And that has to be your mindset going forward. Because we are going to get everything back. Okay? And so with that, I'd like to say shalom.